I thought so.
Yeah, I think so, because look,
Yeah?
it said 3 to 1 there.
Oh,
Huh, oh well.
we should be.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're live on Instagram, so hi
Yeah.
everybody. And I've
Hello.
lost my glasses.
Hello.
There you go.
Hello, 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 hello,
Hello,
hello, hello, hello, hello.
Hi everyone. This is
Yeah,
us in
we're
Manila.
live.
It's a muggier day. We had a few thunderstorms in addition to runaway
Seems smart.
ostriches and stuff. How
Yeah.
come it's like that? I don't understand.
I have no idea, but I mean, why?
Well, I hope people can see us live on Facebook as well. We're simulcasting on Instagram and Facebook. And we'll start in just a few minutes. Wait for people to come on. And this is going to be our last live for the long format on Instagram for
Yeah.
this series. After
Sad.
this, we're going to be going to do the lives on Facebook and YouTube because we just figure it's a friendlier viewing experience for people.
By the way, I have to
People
go
can-
at 9:10 because I have calls.
There you go. So people can, on Instagram, on Facebook, sorry. Here we go. Ready? Breathe with mama. Very good. On Instagram, you can't watch and sort of do stuff. It's,
Yeah.
you really have to stay watching for an hour, which is a lot, especially with all the stuff that's going on. I'm sure people are juggling so many different things, especially now,
Yeah.
like school has started and stuff.
So
So we're going to be doing the live on Facebook and YouTube.
YouTube.
Right.
I don't
I need to
remember.
bring this back for your grandmother.
Okay.
Don't- the squeaky.
Sorry, but oh, thank God.
Right.
No
So,
sound.
yeah, we're going to be doing the long format lives on Facebook and YouTube, and then we're going to be posting the replays on Instagram. So, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll
so
do the same
tired.
thing we always do, which is I'll start sort of talking about moisturizers and the VMV approach to them and some of the different moisturizers that we have, and then I'll call in his grandmother, my mother, who is our founding dermatopathologist, to really dive deep with us in moisturizers.
Okay.
Into.
Actually, before that,
Yeah.
I want to go back to the YouTube thing.
Okay. What is
I have a
up?
proposal.
You do.
Yeah. If you like it, please comment in the comments. Yes. So what I want you to do is I want you to take shifts, so you don't have to do it every Friday. So you can do it every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Skip the weekend, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Oh my God. So 3 times a week is
Yeah.
what you want.
I want that because then you do one, then another person does another, then another person does another.
I'm sorry. I think I had an aneurysm for a second thinking about
Hey, some
doing
people
3
do it
times
every
a
day.
week. Mamma mia.
Some people do it every day.
Teacher Nika's there. I love it.
Hello.
Hello. Teacher Nika is awesome.
I agree.
Okay.
I'm
So we're about to
tired.
start, guys. I'll just there you go. So I can see what's happening everywhere and make sure that nothing's too weird. Okay, so this is our Skinsights on moisturizers.
Yeah.
The truth about
About
moisturizers.
moisturizers.
There's sort of. Are you gonna make fun of me all live?
Yeah.
Fabulous. Stay tuned, everybody, and we'll see if he doesn't get a walloping.
Before I get started, please let us know if watching.
What? Go ahead.
Before I get started, please let us know if watching would be more convenient on YouTube. We're currently
Go ahead.
we're cur- we're currently
This is just a guide.
simulcast
You
on
don't have
Insta
to use it
and
as a
Facebook.
postcard.
But we're considering doing the lives on YouTube and uploading the replays on Insta. So tell us what you think on the comments, and we'll do it if everyone says yes.
It's kind of decided, but we
Yeah.
would still like to know what you think. Again, the reason we'd like to move the live to Instagram, to YouTube and
It's because it's
Facebook.
landscape.
It's landscape, so it is easier to do, basically. Second is we want to be able to invite other resource experts. So one of my bigger dreams is to invite a psychiatrist, dermatologist to talk about stress and skin and mental health. And that's much easier to do over Zoom on on Facebook and on YouTube, where we can have more than 2 people. Instagram limits us to 2. Also, when you're watching on Instagram, you can't really go about your life as normal. You have to stay stuck on Instagram the entire time. So YouTube is just
You can use
friendlier.
Zoom, then record it.
But then it's not live. Right. So anyway, we're going to be doing that. So I will get started talking about moisturizers. Then I call in my mom. When I was a kid, I never used a moisturizer because my problem when I was a kid was what?
Acne.
That's right. I had it all over here in particular.
And you just thought it would
Shampoo,
make
conditioner,
you worse.
and I thought a moisturizer would actually make me worse. And I even had it all over here as acne. So I was just not into moisturizers. And yes, as I've gotten older,
I'm sorry, I read
my skin has changed. Among other things, I've gotten seborrheic dermatitis. I've gotten much drier. So now I find like I'm kind of desperate when I don't have my skin, like a moisturizer nearby.
Yeah.
Part of it is because as you get older, you just produce less sebum in your skin.
That's
so the
sebum.
skin just oil.
Sounds like you're hawking spit. Sebum.
Sebum. No, sebum is oil, not spit. And yeah, so as we get older, we lose more sebum in the skin, naturally anyway. And what... just happened?
I don't know. It was like...
Okay, I hope we're still okay.
Can you hear us?
That's really funny. So, as we get older, we also have a lot more exposure to things, allergens, irritants. Now in COVID, in the pandemic, you'll hear my mom talk about it for sure again. We have a lot more exposure to irritants, disinfectants, bleaches and stuff that can really wreak havoc on the barrier of the skin. And that also makes it drier. So then, I'm sorry, the ding dong is distracting me. Then,
Can you hear
we
the
definitely
ding-dong,
need
please?
a moisturizer.
It's driving me a little crazy.
So it's gotten so bad, all this dryness from COVID, from hand washing, disinfection, etc., that the European Task Force on Contact Dermatitis actually issued a statement that's been published in a journal to recommend using unscented soaps. We would add, don't use bar soaps, use liquid soaps when you can. And they also specified use moisturizer after every hand washing, because it's that important.
And that's my cue to leave.
That is his cue to leave. Mwah.
Goodbye.
Babe, can you do me a favor and just check just check that it's on mute over there?
Where?
You know, on the keyboard. This key, darling?
Wait.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. And now I can't see the All right, we got this. Okay.
Okay, bye. Bye, guys.
All y'all parents over there, I feel you. I feel you. Okay. So we're talking about the necessity of moisturizer has gone up as you age. It becomes a thing, certainly through COVID as we've gotten very, very dry. It is important. Oh my God. I need you in about 10 minutes.
Sorry.
I really, I don't know what is happening today. Okay. So anyway. So before she comes on and sort of gives the scientific approach to everything and really get into why we need moisturizers, what they are, and how they work, which is kind of important. I want to talk a little bit about how we do it at VMV, our approach to moisturizers, etc. At first, we basically just focused on it being hypoallergenic because it is our name, after all, and non-comedogenic. And we have a nice live that we did on acne, which I think is worth rewatching, about what really comedogenic means versus acnegenic. And over time, with my mom's research into the importance of inflammation in the skin and barrier repair, she really hammered home that all of our moisturizers need to have virgin coconut oil and monolaurin. And so those brought in sort of anti-inflammatory, soothing care, antimicrobial care, and all that stuff. Because the thing is, when your skin gets so dry and the barrier is so disrupted, it becomes really welcoming for secondary infections, which can be a real problem, right? So, okay, quickly going through our moisturizers. I can even bring out the Know It Oil. Our first one is virgin coconut oil. It's not only sort of great protection, additional protection at the time of the pandemic. So many published papers in peer-reviewed journals since the 1970s, really, about the efficacy on microbes, bacteria, viruses, including coronaviruses, of virgin coconut oil and monolaurin and other virgin coconut oil derivatives. Not on this particular coronavirus, but I don't think they've studied alcohol on this particular coronavirus either. But it has shown efficacy as well as alcohol in killing viruses. So it's great for that, but it also does have some occlusive properties. Occlusive means like blocking, so it prevents water loss. And it can even be used as a cleanser. Some of the earliest soaps really were oils, right? So yeah, and in fact, when we have customers, my mom has patients who are extremely irritated, we recommend that they cleanse with Know It Oil or Oils Well, because sometimes when your skin is that flared, even plain water can sting. So we actually recommend the coconut oils. Our most basic daily ones for the face are like super skincare stuff. You pick based on your skin type. This is the one for very dry skin. I don't know if that's visible at all. This is the one for combination skin. So if you're kind of worried that you have patches that are oilier or drier, then that's what you would get. The one for dry skin is obviously more moisturizing. We have an oil-free moisturizer as well for oily skin. And then the Essence Hand and Body Smoother and Grandma Mini Mommy Coddling All Over Lotion. These puppies can actually be used all over. And they're nice because they're VH 109. So the other two are not. They're 108. They have vitamin E in them. If you're not allergic to vitamin E, if it hasn't come up in your patch test, it's actually a really great antioxidant. So, but if you are allergic to tocopherol acetate, then you would pick Essence Hand and Body Smoother, or Mommy Coddling All Over Lotion. And they can be used all over the face and the body. They're less occlusive, but they have a lot of VCO, so they're a great spread. They feel really, really good. And the Mommy Coddling one can be shared with moms and babies, which is awesome. You can find all of this at vmvhypoallergenics.com internationally and vmvhypoallergenics.ph in the Philippines. And the special that we have online in the Philippines now is a skin calming bundle, which I'm sure with MECQ and everything we need. And it's got a lot of products packed with virgin coconut oil and monolaurin. So check that out. And in the USA, we're offering a nice way to kind of lift spirits in these uncertain times, which is a free lip gloss in Smack, which is a lovely, lovely, lovely best-selling pink that we have. For viewers in the Philippines in particular, VMV Skin Research Center and Clinics, VSRC, is looking for, is screening participants for a study, 2 clinical studies on chronic spontaneous urticaria and on hidradenitis suppurativa. So PM us, private message us if you think you have those conditions and might be interested in a study. They're great, phenomenal studies and could be really helpful for these conditions, which are historically really stubborn. For everywhere, remember you can PM us if you have patch test results, and we can customize recommendations for you based on your particular allergens. And finally, if you'd like a teleconsultation with my mother or any dermatologist we work with, drop us a PM here or on Facebook and we'll make that happen for you. Finally, it might surprise you to know, 2 other moisturizers I want to talk about. Without going into sort of the hardcore active ingredient moisturizers, these are pretty cool. This is a glycolic acid moisturizer that you can use on your body and your face, and it has glycolic acid, so it gives you a little extra something. And these 2 I actually use myself, which is Red Better Daily Moisturizer, because I did develop rosacea and seborrheic dermatitis late in life. And the other is the Soothing Aftershave Salve. Believe it or not, I love this so much because of the virgin coconut oil, the retinol. It kind of smells yummy to me. But the point is, I do use a moisturizer now, especially in the age of COVID, especially as I've gotten older, just to protect my skin. And ending, some people use Boo Boo Balm as a moisturizer, actually. The reason is because it's got a high percentage of petrolatum, which is important for occlusion and barrier repair. And some people with really severe eczema actually use it all over or over larger patches of skin because it's so occlusive and because it has monolaurin and virgin coconut oil. It's actually great for moist wound healing as well. So there, all that covered. I'm going to call in my mom, our resource expert, dermatopathologist. There she is. She's going to give us a really deep dive into moisturizers. Hi. Hello. Mwah. Okay, look at this. Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, are you comfortable?
Very.
Do you want another pillow?
Yes.
Okay, where? On you? Under you?
On the there.
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 Is that good?
Okay.
Hi. So,
Yes.
okay, mega published, clinical researcher, clinician, academic, teacher, Dr. Mentor. Dr. Vermen Veralia Rowell is a dermatopathologist. And I always mention this because I think it gives she can give a unique insight into the skin at a deeper level. Dermatopathologists are the ones who read skin biopsies cellularly, right? So when it comes to moisturizers, she also does clinical studies on moisturizers. And so she can even explain things like a towameter and mexameter and how we measure moisture in the skin. So say hi to everyone.
Hello, everybody. It's so nice to see you out there.
We've had a morning with sort of craziness. Okay, so I'll get started.
Yes.
Folks, remember to ask your questions early, please, because sometimes what happens is people ask questions one after another, and then we try to cram them in at the end. It's much easier if you can ask your questions earlier and we can get to them. So the first question that we always get asked is moisturizer actually a thing? Or is it just a marketing ploy?
Oh, it's a real thing. As a matter of fact, in recent years, it has become a very active, commonly talked about, fairly often published product because the barrier of the skin, what we call the skin barrier, is actually what you are helping when you use a moisturizer. And unfortunately nowadays, especially with COVID and the environment and things like nitrous oxide going into the air, and it also is a nitric acid, the one that recently burst out. They're also in a lot of the plants and production of things that are in the air, as well as some of the exhaust from the
Sorry, I want to make sure you're comfy.
okay. Exhaust from cars and traffic and all that. In Manila, that's a very serious thing. But because of chemicals in the air, there's environmental pollution, and because of internal pollution from the things we're eating, not quite right, and because of all the products we're also applying on the skin to help the barrier. Bingo, the moisturizer then has become a very important topic because there's much more we can tell you about the moisturizers now. It's not something you just apply after washing, toner, and moisturizer. It's much more than that.
Right, so it's actually become more important. Do you remember someone asked a while back, before you could just not use anything and be fine.
Yes.
And you mentioned, but life has changed.
Right.
We're exposed to a lot more chemicals, a lot more irritants, especially now with all the bleaches and all of these things. It really is an issue. We need more, basically. We have our question that's come in. What are the top 3 ingredients to look for in a moisturizer?
The top 3 ingredients are, number 1 is an excerpt of petrolatum and mineral oil, because they are the 2 most occlusive moisturizers. But you use that on somebody who has problem skin that needs moisturization. As an example, even acne, which normally occurs in oily skin people, acne can become barrier impaired. So number 1 therefore is petrolatum and mineral oil.
It's my fault. I have a I'm telling you, today is like the day. Oh my god. It's just I think we're back. Okay, yes, we're back. Sorry about that. So you were saying?
You need occlusives.
Yes, you need occlusives.
Yeah,
So that's
because,
one.
example, psoriasis, acne, contact dermatitis, top three things that you will have either an irritant or an allergic dermatitis in this day and age of COVID and using all of these disinfectants and detergents. So those are irritating as well as an allergen. So that's number one, is put in an occlusive to repair the barrier by allowing it to retain more fluid and not exit any fluid and to absorb. So that's one. The second important ingredient would be, for me, it's a vegetable oil, because the nice thing about vegetable oils is that it contains these active ingredients that are very good really in repairing the barrier. And that is, one is it contains glycerin, because triglycerides, this is what vegetable oils are made of, whether it's olive oil or soybean or safflower, and whether it's also coconut oil. They're all uh, made up of triglycerides, which means the glyceride is the three carbon root of it, and attached to that are fatty acids. So there are three fatty acids, that's why it's called triglycerides. And what happens is that our own bacteria break down the fatty acids, because that's what they need to repair cells and all of that. So it breaks down into fatty acids and glycerin. So this particular vegetable oil is different from the rest because its fatty acids are quite different from the others. Glycerin they all contain, because when the fatty acids are removed from the glycerin core of a vegetable oil, the glycerin is an amazing absorbent of water.
Okay, so we have,
Humectant.
right, so
Occlusive,
occlusive, humectant.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the
The
third,
third.
are the active ingredients.
Okay, so active ingredients, but I would imagine for someone who's extremely barrier deficient already,
Right.
that maybe active ingredients not so much just yet.
The problem you see with many moisturizers that are in the market is you take a look at the bottle and you must always look at the label. Sorry, I shouldn't do that.
No.
I have a way of doing this.
Here, props.
Okay. If you have a bottle, turn it over. If you have something beside you, do that. Look at the labels, the ingredients. The longer the ingredients, the more worrisome it is.
This is a classic tip. What a great tip.
Yeah, because they can actually work against each other, the ingredients, right? So you look at the ingredients, the more simple the formulation,
The better.
the fewer the ingredients, the better.
Exactly.
Because then you can identify, this is my, doctor was saying there should be an occlusive, because that helps re-water, so to speak, the skin that's barrier engaged from all of the environmental pollutions, or the steroids that you're applying on the skin, or the actives, okay? So number one is occlusive. Look for something that says petrolatum or mineral oil, okay? And then look for silicone.
Silicone's nice for the spread,
Silicone
actually.
is also, the nice thing about it is that this modern, very cheap ingredient is fantastic in making you feel silky
Mm.
and smooth and brilliant. But remember, it's really just sitting on the skin and you can wash it off.
Right.
okay?
It's also gotten a bad rap recently, but I mean, contact allergy wise, it's just there's not much on it. It's actually very safe, and it feels great on the skin. It provides an additional barrier, I imagine, because it sits on the
Feels
skin.
like silk, yeah.
There you go. So we have another question here: does consuming virgin coconut oil help moisturize the skin from within?
Yes, in a sense, because when the fatty acids are broken down, they go through the intestinal wall or directly by lymphatics to the rest of the world on the body, and so therefore the fatty acids are what we call the endogenous fatty acids from the diet that you're taking. There are also fatty acids that are contributed to, like we said, in the moisturizers. Look for fatty acids.
So here's the other thing too that might surprise people. You always talk about our skin cells actually are made up of lipids.
Yes.
Right. So having healthy oils in your diet
Yeah.
is very important. How does this affect someone with celiac disease?
Celiac disease, the coconut oil, you see, that's a genetic problem that needs a certain enzyme to help the body, the lungs, act physiologically. So the fatty acids that we're talking about, the fatty acids from the triglycerides, that then on demand of the skin, when it's destroyed, either because of the topicals that you're using or the steroids you're using, or due to any other chemicals that may be harmful on the skin, like the environmental pollutants. So there, you need the fatty acids that you've eaten, because they will be coming out into the several layers of the epidermis, and that is used to make lamellar granules that then on demand will exude those granules that are lipids into the outermost layer for because that's what we call the cement and brick, where bricks of cement, and then in between are the fatty acids that range from short chain to very long chain, like ceramide,
Okay.
which is a sterol.
So, as a bit of a summary, right? Moisturizers aren't dismissible. They're actually important, and they have a very important function, especially in these days, just because of our increased exposure to pollutants, irritants, allergens, disinfectants, etc. Our cells are made up of lipids, so replacing those fatty acids is also a really good thing. And that would be, it seems, from both applying it topically as well as ingesting healthy oils in your diet. And that's not just virgin coconut oil, that is omega-3, right, from fish in particular. So yeah, don't be afraid of oils. I think the whole fad of oil-free has gone away now, thankfully.
You really need those vegetable oils
Exactly.
on the skin, yeah.
So someone's asking, Aiku, what products can you recommend for a 4-month-old baby with redness and rashes all over the face? A pediatrician prescribed a steroid that didn't work.
Yeah. Because like in every talk that I've given, I've always said, look for the cause. Babies, will get irritation on the face. If they're 1 to 3 months old, they will get irritation of the skin from either too much disinfecting, especially Nadao, or disinfecting using so many strong disinfectants like Sunrox, or, well, I better not name names, but chlorine-based. Chlorine is so terrible, really, because it's an irritant.
It's important,
It's important. Okay.
but it is an irritant.
And an allergen as
And
well.
no.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. I
Chlorine?
looked that up.
Yes, it is. The chlorine is put into chemicals like, as a good example, maybe I can mention this, Safeguard, Lifebuoy, Dial, Irish Spring. They all have chlorinated hydrocarbons. Triclosan is the one in many of the products now.
Triclosan is a chlorine?
Triclosan.
Ah.
PCMC.
I'm embarrassed I
PCMX.
didn't know that.
Yeah. Trichlorobromosalicylate.
There you go. Triclosan actually was banned in the U.S.
That came later. First,
came
it was
later.
the only chloride that people were allowed to use in products that needed chlorine. So it's called triclosan. But that replaced the older chlorides and bromides, halogens, that were really bad photoallergens and irritants.
Okay, so in terms of the 4-month-old baby,
So
With the rashes
if you're
and redness
cleaning
all
like
over.
mad, and in Manila, out in the Philippines, much of our water is chlorinated, coming from the tap. So if you're using a lot of that, you can irritate the baby's skin. I sometimes tell mothers, the skin is irritated. Why don't you just use this hypoallergenic wash, and then towards the end, hand wash, rinse well with bottled distilled water. There, you've gotten rid of another pollutant in the in personal products
so yeah.
that cause
I-
it.
Okay, so if I can sort of summarize a bit, and folks on Facebook, I apologize, we're having technical difficulties. Why do I pre-live? Why? Why do I bother? This is the question. So anyway, in summary, I know already what she's going to say, and so if you're a mom of a 4-month-old and are kind of freaking
Because
out,
she's my daughter.
if you're freaking out because your baby is, red and rashy and uncomfortable, the very first thing, no, why? Okay. So, can you check if we're okay? Thank you. Sorry. The very first thing she's going to say is, first of all, don't immediately go to treat it. First,
Right.
figure out what's causing it. So, let's run through an itinerary here. What do you launder babies' clothes and linens and towels with? If it is a detergent that is extremely fragranced, this could be a absolutely is a very, very likely culprit. Fragrance is a top allergen, right? If baby's clothings and linen are bright colors, a lot of elastics, a lot of scratchy material, this could be causing the problem for baby. If the shampoo and baby wash that you're using smells very good, has a lot of allergens in it, that might be the cause. You may not need a steroid. You can maybe just cut out that stuff and choose allergen-free options and be okay, right? And instead of a steroid, you might be able to use a pure organic virgin coconut oil to sort of bring down the inflammation and the redness. You can do it with a cold compress when massaging baby, you know. A steroid might still be necessary. Certainly if it's prescribed by a doctor, it should probably be used. But a steroid is not for long-term use. You really need to figure out what the cause is.
Right. And remember, it's not just the baby. The baby and
That's
his
true.
clothes and the sheets
Yeah.
and the things that go around the baby's face. It may be you, the mother or the caretaker of the baby.
That's right. Who
because
has
what they use in their hands,
are so
they will touch the
perfumed, and
baby.
that's right. Good point. Okay, I have a shout out. I need to make sure you know on Facebook. You can't see us, but he's there. Joseph de Guzman says hello.
Joseph, my favorite guy.
Okay, so for
Truly.
those of you with psoriasis, Joseph is extremely active in
Very.
the World Psoriasis Organization.
In
and
the
all
world,
these-
internationally.
Exactly. So there's a lot of support with people with psoriasis, and talk about needing moisturizers that are non-triggering, non-allergenic. People with psoriasis, absolutely, moisturizers are crucial. I have a question here that I know comes up a lot, which is, I'll break it into two parts. One is, but don't moisturizers just cause more acne? And the second is, isn't mineral oil comedogenic?
Okay. I've done studies on the comedogenicity. I'll talk about the comedogenicity first because there's been an ongoing for a long time story that these oils are comedogenic. Well, I finally did a study on comedogenicity. It's a complex way of doing it on the skin of somebody for a month, right? Applying it and making it come out, making comedones come out. I did 8 oils. Only one of them came out as being somewhat of a comedogen, but not seriously. The reason for the fact that the vegetable oils are really not comedogenic is because they are oils. They break down. Now, some of the longer chain may clog up, but not so much as silicone, for instance. Silicone sits on the surface of the skin. And remember, our skin is constantly being excreted out of the
We
the
have
body.
a natural exfoliation process.
So those
right?
corneocytes, those cells that are being
Those
shed off,
corneocytes, word of the day.
right? It can plug up the pores actually because they stay on the surface of the skin.
Yes.
They clog up, so that yes, they can, as a matter of fact, produce comedone acne.
Right. And here's the other thing, folks.
Not only that, they
I'm
can
sorry.
also destroy. Sorry.
No, please, fire away.
They can also destroy or imbalance the natural organisms that we have in our skin,
That's
which consist
right,
of
yeah.
bacteria, fungus, and mites.
Yes.
That microbiota of the skin becomes disturbed. And so now you have somebody who doesn't have just acne produced by the clogging of the pores by silicone, but you have also a continuing acne because you've disturbed the microbiota of that skin.
There you go.
There. If you want silicone, again, we're back to the labels, right? Silicone, that's why I put silicone as number 3, because virgin coconut oil and the other vegetable oils have their place in treatment.
There you go.
May I add some more?
Yes, please.
Okay.
This is why you're here.
There are some oils, though, that are what we call treatment enhancers.
Yeah.
In other words, like olive oil. Terrific oil. I'll add a little bit of olive oil on my diet as well. Mediterranean diet has, fantastic things. But the olive oil is an enhancement, a penetration enhancement of active ingredients that you want to go into the skin. So it's not an irritant, it does improve that. So when I use olive oil, I'll use coconut oil, which is a little bit
to repair naman.
better to repair that barrier. So the label, again, going back, read it well and explain it to your
Right.
doctor, who might be able to explain to you that you really cannot use. Besides the fragrance and the preservatives and all, that you cannot use. You cannot use
Yeah.
beeswax because it's both an allergen as well as a waxy component that can also clog pores. That's why there's so much adult acne. There are many more adult acne cases that I see in my clinic rather than adolescent acne.
I'm going to add something to this because I think one of the, first of all, I'm going to repeat an offer. If anyone there is having problems sort of identifying ingredients or products that they can use or not, please send us a private message or direct message and we can help customize recommendations for you based specifically on your patch test results, right? Which is pretty special. And the thing I want to double down here is my mom keeps saying, look at the label, look at the label, look at the label. And I completely agree. However, unless you're a chemist or a clinician who happens to have a chemist's brain like she does, she's kind of really funky in this way, it's a little difficult to understand. When you're looking at ingredients, it's hard even sometimes to know. A while ago, the example was perfect, triclosan, right? I knew it was bad. I didn't realize that the clo in the middle stood for chlorine. In cocamidea, cocamidopropylbetaine, people think that the problem is the coca for the coconut oil, and the problem is not. It's the amidoamine, which is the processing of that oil that turns it into an allergen. When you're looking at a label, are you going to know that that's a silicone? Because the label won't say silicone. It'll say something siloxane, right? You don't necessarily know that. It can get extremely confusing. Your doctor should be able to help, but again, not all doctors are this immersed in contact dermatitis. The ones who are really specialists who do patch testing, contact dermatitis, they'll have a far better granular awareness of what ingredients mean. And they'll also know that just because something says, for example, Camellia sinensis, which is green tea, right? It's green tea, but it's not a botanical in the sense that fragrances are botanical. It's really complex. So really ask for help and we'll be happy to help you. We're okay. We have time.
Regarding that baby, by the way,
Yes.
was 3 or 4 months old.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes, the more serious my patients are, the less products I use.
The
of
gentler.
The gentler it is. And one of the most exciting, memorable things that I apply on the skin when the baby is really red and inflamed and crying out, in the night because they're itchy. I use coconut oil. I tell them to put the coconut oil in the refrigerator. It becomes like a white butter.
Mm-hmm.
And then get that face towel that was put in cold water or put in the refrigerator as well. And then apply the coconut oil all over the face and then put the cold compress of the towel.
Don't smother the baby.
Don't smother the baby.
gentle.
But that cooling effect brings down the inflammation. The baby is okay for one night. And
We
then
need
2
to
nights
clarify something. So I want to again try to summarize as we go. Moisturizers are not sort of gimmick. They are actually very important and provide an important function for the skin, especially as we age and especially as our barrier layer becomes disrupted and damaged from exposure to irritants, allergens, and all of the disinfection and hand washing in COVID. Okay, so it's important. 2, in terms of comedogenicity, it's a much more complex question. I really urge you guys to look at, we have a post on vmvinskin.com about acnegenic and comedogenic and what they really mean. We have a live stream about acne that's very helpful. A lot of the traditional ingredients that everyone says are comedogenic are actually not. They were based on really old studies that were inconsistent to begin with and that were done on rabbit ears. Later studies done by many doctors and replicated and done again have shown much more consistent results on actual human skin. And there is a difference. Comedogenic means it clogs the pore. Acnegenic means it clogs the pore and then an inflammation happens and then an infection.
She's good.
Right? I have a really good teacher. I listen. Ang takot ko lang. I don't want to be wrong. So silicones, right, are not comedogenic.
Mm-hmm.
They sit on the surface of the skin. So it is unlikely they're going to penetrate the pore and clog it.
They do, though.
So they are comedogenic. I'm
they're
so sorry.
comedogenic.
Someone had asked now for a clarification.
They're
Here.
comedogenic because they're a sheet.
So wait, sorry. The specific question is, why is silicone good? I'm so sorry, I misspoke. Why is silicone good but also comedogenic? How does that work?
Okay.
I'm a little confused. So it's not good for
I
people with
told
acne.
you that it's an occlusive. It sits on the surface of the skin like a thin, thin, thin palisade,
like petrolatum does.
like petrolatum
Okay.
does. The difference is it stays there, may even be able to penetrate a little bit deeper from the stratum corneum down to the upper levels of the epidermis.
Okay.
In that process, then, you're allowing the epidermis to still continue to shed off scales, the scale that you get after a sunburn, for example. So because that is being brought out and then you have a film there, the silicone, some of that may actually then go into the follicular units as well as the ductal units. And they produce, if you look very closely, if you're starting to have acne, I see this a lot nowadays, little bits, but the acne is uniformly dots, dot-like things. There may be a little bit of redness around, but they're not the usual acne from by teenagers, which is start out with a comedone, then
Right.
it becomes a little bit what you call a papule, then it becomes a little bit more, and it then becomes a cyst. That's the life story of an acne in teenagers or acne that's due to hormones.
Hormonal.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there.
So don't use it if you have if you're acne prone. Don't use anything with
Use it
silicones.
gently, infrequently, just a thin amount because it really feels so good.
If I may add something here.
Yeah,
the
you're going to talk
silicones-
about sunscreen,
No, I'm not talking about
okay.
silicones. Silicones evaporate quickly.
but leave the film.
Slight film.
Right.
So how can that be good for someone with acne? I don't understand.
For acne, because sometimes people are very,
Sorry, this is a great question actually that
Yes.
Hai Jopi asked, because silicones are actually in many acne preparations,
Mhm.
right? So I'm wondering now, if they are comedogenic, why would they be recommended for acne prone skin?
Because what happened? Number one, consumers, including us, are spoiled in a sense.
So we like the feel.
we love the feel.
But
It
so
feels
bottom
like
line,
silk.
we should avoid them
It looks good. Yeah.
to prevent acne.
Use a little bit of it, unless you're using the silicone-based sunscreen, which is why sunscreens now, again, people, trust me because I have a pharmacist in my clinic who compounds for me things. And when I do, they always ask me, Doc, make it thin, make it light, make it...
Beyond the what people like or don't like, because our
okay.
viewers really aren't the same consumers really as I think people who just want what's
Over
nice.
time of using it regularly, if it's not being used just as a barrier like you want the sunscreen to do, then it's better for you to use it infrequently, maybe once, but very, very thin amount, because
I'd like
it
to
can
dig
plug
into-
up the comedone.
Okay,
They can plug up the follicles. And
I'd
so
like
on.
to dig deeper into this. We're going to do another live stream on acne, part 2, just because everyone keeps asking about it all the time. And I'll make sure that we tackle this in detail because I'm very curious. But we do have other questions. Can essential oil be an irritant
Very much so, as
Very
well as an
much so.
allergen.
and an
As a matter of
allergen?
fact, that would be the fourth, are the other oils which are not virgin. Which oil are they? They're still vegetable oils. They are
But they
still,
have like lavender, ilang-ilang.
so those are still biologic.
top allergens. Very, very common allergens. Lavender is also a
It's lovely.
photoallergen.
It makes
A lot
things
of these
smell nice.
things cause photoallergic reactions too, so they
Very
cause
nice.
hyperpigmentations, which is a
Correct.
problem. Someone noted, I have very oily skin, but recently because of all that's in the air from COVID, my face is extremely dry. A part of it is from my allergy to fragrance, and there's so many fragrances used in cleaning stuff. How can I add moisture to my face? It is literally flaking. Should I put moisturizer or put my pimecrolimus cream?
Pimecrolimus.
Pimecrolimus.
Yeah. The pimecrolimus is a drug.
Isn't it a steroid? No.
It is all of a sudden I'm block about what tacrolimus is, but it's a new steroid.
It
in
is a
that
steroid.
it's
yeah.
anti-inflammatory. It isn't a steroid, by the way.
That's not
It's
sorry.
an anti-inflammatory.
It's like an NSAID, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory
Right,
drug.
exactly. So that's what its purpose is there. But if you're now talking about the cause could be anything else, from the environment, like you said, from the irritants there, from the soaps that you may be using too much. From the chemicals
So,
that may
yeah.
be in the mask.
Maybe I think the same thing would apply to that 4-month-old baby. Find out what the cause is first,
Always
right?
look for the cause.
It's always the cause. And remember, a lot of these cleaning agents, yes, come up in the air. So if you have an allergy to fragrance, airborne stuff, the airborne contact dermatitis is a thing. So maybe do a full, like real exacting inventory of everything that you're exposed to and where the dryness is occurring the most. In our last live stream, skin conditions that confuse the crap out of everyone, one thing that we talked about a lot was how, bless you,
I did it right now.
isn't that the sweetest sneeze? Anyway, your skin lesions, where the parts that are affected are like a roadmap to show you what might be causing the problem. So that's kind of the first thing to do. We'd recommend talking to your dermatologist, having them take a really good look at where the flakiness is occurring and do a really strict inventory, very exacting inventory of what it is you're exposed to, and start cutting that out, and then maybe do a skin fast to just bring down the inflammation and start reintroducing things
And
slowly.
by the way, as an anti-inflammatory, the pimecrolimus is very good because it doesn't produce acne. Come to think of it, I'm going to look if they have silicones in the product formulation.
I'm telling you, we're going to have a thing on silicones because I'm not letting this go. I'm extremely curious. Okay, we are about 10 minutes to ending.
Okay.
So,
Should. More questions.
yeah, well, no, so far I think we've gotten everyone. Someone, Hijopi asked again, what is something that tends to be in skincare products that is a big no-no?
Fragrance.
Fragrance. I would
Number
agree. Number one. And the thing about fragrance that's really annoying with moisturizers and whatnot is, okay, so sorry, I'm going to say one thing really quickly about moisturizers that are important. A lot of what we're saying here, remember too that moisturizers are meant to stay on the skin for a long amount of time. It's not like using a fragrance in something that you wash off quickly. This really stays on the skin all day, right? And even on things that you wash off quickly, fragrance is stubborn. AF. It stays. It's hard to get rid of. So, and fragrance is just a top allergen. And the problem again with fragrances, when she keeps saying, look at the label, look at the label, look at the label, do look at the label, but you may not know that cinnamic alcohol and benzyl alcohol are both,
Or balsam of Peru.
or balsam of Peru. These are fragrances.
Niroxolone perere.
It's not
its name.
necessarily common for people to write fragrance, right? You're gonna find fragrance in a whole bunch of other things in there, so you've got to really be careful about that. For someone with oily skin, someone's asking what to use for oily skin. You can use
Is
an
the
oil.
problem the oily skin? Or is
No,
there
just what moisturizer to
Ah.
use for oily skin. You know, you're kind of spoiled with a choice, I think is the point, right?
if you're oily, use coconut oil. It's really not that oily. You
And
get a
coconut
little bit
oil
and
is
spread
really,
it nicely.
it's not comedogenic and it's not acnegenic,
So
and it is
nice
an
and soft.
excellent moisturizer. And it's multifunction. You can use it for a bunch of different things too. The rest are hellos from a bunch of people who know and love you. So
Oh, love you too, love you too. Take care.
and patience and stuff.
Distance, mask.
Okay, so I mean we're good to go, Mom. If you want to go and finish your stuff, because I know I have to take you out later.
I have 2 hours stock to
Okay.
follow this.
Okay, sorry. So go.
On
But thank
genes and
you,
molecules.
and yeah, thanks for everyone for watching. And yeah, DM us or PM us, and we'll see if we can get your questions answered later. But she has to go. She's always busier than me.
I have to share with you a story.
And then she has time for a story. Okay.
Okay. My husband, I met him, and he was a 30-plus-year-old with acne. Believe it or not, 30 plus. At that time, this is way back in the 80s, 70s. And I thought, how does an old man, have acne? Cystic acne and all. So at that time, I then gave him a lotion that cleared him up in 2 weeks. So he was very impressed. I think that's why he married me. He felt if she can do this to my skin, she's okay. She's a keeper, he would say. But anyway, the acne, the thing about it is that adult acne is much, much, much more common nowadays. So that you have to identify the first couple of days or week that you have spots on the skin. Describe it to your doctor. The doctor, is it a real rash, or is it just those pinpoint duck-like spots that become a little bit inflamed, but they're uniform, almost uniform, and you get them in the back. We call that sweat acne. Okay, we we got into acne already, right?
Yes, this is
You want me to
moisturizers.
stop a little bit? Wanna-
If you have time, we'll
it's
have you all
just
day.
lovely to. I want to. So my husband said to me one day, he's a businessman, and I'm marketing. He was good in marketing as well. So he comes to me and he says, "What did you put here?" I said, it's just a two product formula. Maybe the third is alcohol, but mainly it is this and that. So he said, "Why don't you sell it?" I said, "I'm not a seller. I'm not a marketer. I'm not into that kind of business. My business is more into brains and research and studies." He said, "But do you understand why I'm telling you to do that? It's because you and I are talking, that's one on one. You're helping me, and there are many more out there who have same problems but don't know what to do or cannot be cured in 2 weeks. So this is why he said, make a product that you can sell to others that are basic for the skin."
So this is basically our origin story.
Yeah. So I did. And now the reason I'm talking like this is now I recognize I see a yellow butterfly who I always think is my husband's second coming. And what I have just done is gone from products that that is based on my studies and can be available to a lot of people. But even more so now with the digital age, I'm actually talking to a world out there. And I feel so good that, I'm able to answer your questions. I'm able to relate with you the things that I know of from experience as well as from research, honest to goodness research. It's wonderful to be able to do that. So please, I'm actually therefore inviting you, come again next Friday.
Right. So as a reminder to everyone, this is our last time on Instagram, live for these long formats. We're going to go live on YouTube and Facebook, and then we're going to post the replays on Instagram. But on that note, I will
Okay.
let you go to your talk.
Mwah.
If they say you're late, tell them it's your fault because
Yes.
you had story time.
Yes.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Love you, Mom. So that was cute, actually. I wasn't expecting that. It's nice when she gets in that mood and wants to share. Very quickly, let me try to answer some of the questions specifically for VMV. We have several VMV lotions for a dry torso. I recommended earlier the Essence Hand and Body Soother. I think this is really awesome. All over, it's very high in virgin coconut oil and monolaurin. Pure virgin coconut oil. Know-it oil and oils well at VMV also would be great for the torso for very, very dry skin. And then how many times a day or week should we apply moisturizer? Daily would be the thing. If you are a frontliner and are really, really hyper disinfecting and washing your hands a lot, the European Task Force on Contact Dermatitis recommends after every hand washing, apply moisturizer on the hands. But remember, a lot of the disinfectants are airborne, so reapply on the face as well. That was from Aiku Bam. And then I answered Obsi Ann from Arizona. Dang it, I didn't get to say hello to Mom. I'll make sure she knows everyone's there. Okay. Wonderful. Yes, Joyce, my mom still has the same zest. She's pretty awesome. So in closing, I will remind you guys, you can buy a lot of the stuff. All our moisturizers are pretty much what she talks about, right? So they're tested for non-comedogenicy, non-acnegenicity. Everything has, except the oil-free nourisher for oily skin, everything has virgin coconut oil and monolaurin. More or less of different things depending on what you need. If you are confused and really don't know what to get, virgin coconut oil is just the way to go, period. Otherwise, super skin care moisturizers are great. You can choose based on your skin type. Grandma Mini, Mommy Coddling All Over Lotion. I have rosacea late onset, so I use the Daily Better moisturizer every day and the virgin coconut oil every single day. So there, and all of that is available on vmvhypoallergenics.com internationally and .ph in the Philippines. And a special now in the Philippines is actually a little set that we call the Skin Calming Bundle because MECQ, etc., rampaging ostriches and whatnot. My favorite thing this week was ostrich and the goat. But we have this set, which is wonderful. And it has A lot of products: Essence conditioner, Clark Wash, Oils Well, Red Better cleanser, a lot of stuff with virgin coconut oil monolaurin, and that's at vmvhypoallergenics.ph. And before I forget, you get 2 points times 2 points when you shop now. So we have a great rewards program where you earn points and can actually give yourself a free product or give yourself a discount. So this weekend, if I'm not mistaken, you get 2 times more points for each purchase. And in the USA, we're giving away a really beautiful best-selling pink lip gloss called Smack, which I think is a great way to kind of, just be happy and lift our spirits. And then free shipping from August 7 to 8. And for viewers in the Philippines, just a reminder, if you have chronic spontaneous urticaria or hidradenitis suppurativa, there is an amazing clinical study that's ongoing, and we're screening participants. This is at the VMV Skin Research Center and Clinics, or VSRC. PM us if you have those conditions or know someone who does. If you have questions about what those conditions are, let us know as well. And if you're struggling to find formulations that work for you, DM us, PM us with your patch test results, and we will customize recommendations based on your particular allergens and potential cross-reactants, which I think is extremely helpful, especially when faced with all this chemistry in a label. So we'll be doing live streams every Friday still. This is our last full live stream on Instagram, though, just because we want an easier viewing experience for people. Insta won't let you watch and do stuff, other things with your phone. So we'll be live streaming on YouTube and Facebook from next Friday on, which is Thursday evening in the United States. And then we'll be uploading part of the replay to Instagram. And that's it. Let us know in the comments if there's anything else you want us to talk about. I will dive deep into that silicone question because I really like it. And we'll do another acne segment, but let us know if there's anything else you'd like us to tackle. And if you'd like a teleconsultation with her, my mother, or with other dermatologists we work with at VSRC, drop us a PM and we'll make that happen. Subscribe, follow Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I am on Instagram at Laura AT VMV. Laura at VMV if you want to chat about whatever. And that's it. Have a wonderful weekend and stay safe and stay protected and stay calm. Deep breaths. Thanks so much, you guys. I'm so glad you got to hear that story from my mom. See you next week. Bye-bye. Okay. That's the awkward moment of getting up and ending everything. Hee hee. Start here.